Celeste is a quite challenging platforming game with buttery smooth controls. It's also one of the hardest games that I ever played in recent times. Within the game, you learn that Madeline, the character you play as, has a goal to scale the mountain. Granny makes a comment about her inability to traverse the mountain, and Madeline becomes hostile towards Granny. This is quite a common trait for someone with low self-esteem. What I like about Celeste, it's not only an amazing platformer game, but it also has a well-crafted level design. For example, I love how the checkpoints are engraved within the level. It's quite a beautiful detail to see. The attention to detail they put in the well-crafted level is amazing. Not only that, Celeste has a wonderful theme. I'll explain that later on within the video. There's gonna be spoilers ahead, so you've been warned. In chapter 2, there's a mirror, but it has a dark reflection of Madeline. It breaks out of the mirror. Finding this inner demon, I started to recognize my own experiences. At times I could be negative towards myself. I was working on my previous video, the black and white retrospective. I was a bit worried that I couldn't understand the impactful themes of the games. Moving on to chapter 3. Find that Mr. Orishu is an interesting character as he's a ghost owner of a hotel. I believe the dark sludges are unknowingly created by his doubts and fears. You can see this manifest when he experiences a mental breakdown. I found this to be quite saddening, as Mr. Orishu is afraid of losing customers and afraid to part ways with the hotel. Final journal can be found reflecting this, and that Mr. Orishu refused to part ways when the hotel closed, even when the other people climbed and died. Chapter teaches us that there's a difference between supporting a person and fixing their problems. Madeline tried so hard to fix the situation up to a point where she sacrificed her own well-being and her own goal. She leaves Mr. Orishu and then he turns into a monster of his own anxiety. In chapter 4, the wind is introduced as the new game mechanic. What I appreciate about this mechanic is it provides an extra set of challenges to the platforming. Enjoy this because it can force you to use the environment to your advantage to progress. Moving on, Madeline finds a gondola. Theo comes to the gondola. Madeline worries about the safety of the gondola. Madeline suffers from anxiety. This adds extra weight to the gondola as a part of Madeline appears. This anxiety controls her and results in a panic attack. In my previous video, I had this weird guilty feeling towards it. Weighing me down, it discouraged me to even work on it. By believing that I'm in control like how Madeline is in control of her feather, I relax in order to work on my video. Chapter 5, Mirror Temple. I find this chapter name to be quite interesting. I kept exploring. Madeline found Theo's phone and she was not panicking over this. It shows that Madeline is a much more stronger character and I love it for it. Madeline finds Theo but he seems to be trapped in the mirror. Theo describes how dark and lonely it is in there, but eventually he's forced to leave. Then Madeline continues her journey. Exploration of the temple leads Madeline to come across a large mirror. A minigame occurs where you have to seek yourself out. Madeline wakes up in an area filled with thorns and tendrils. This area represents how seeking yourself out can lead into a dark area. Madeline says that the mountain gave her her body. She also says that there's more creepy things living in messed up head of yours. Also says, look in the mirror, this is all yours. Tempo only magnifies the mountain's powers. You're in control, not me. Wow, that's a lot to unravel right here. This mirror temple is a reflection of Madeline's self. The more I explored, the more fascinated I got. Inner demons try to seek us out, wanting to stop us. To become a stronger version of yourself, you must deal with your inner demons. Later on, Madeline meets Theo again. He's encased in a crystal. And Theo gets to see the other side of Madeline. Tells her ego that she was trying to hide as she didn't want Theo to see the dark side of her. Eventually, Madeline has to carry Theo out of the temple as he's unable to move. Exploring the exit is found blocked by the large eyeball. By defeating the eye, we set free Theo from the crystal. Chapter 6, a postcard reads, "It's impossible to outrun your own reflection." This is quite fitting as what took place within the previous chapter. As a disclaimer, I have not dealt with depression and anxiety. However, that doesn't mean I have struggles of my own. Reflecting myself, I've been noticing I've been in a semi-existential crisis of my own. Like Madeline, I was fixated on these stupid things. I also learned how to identify and accept these thoughts. The way I struggle with Madeline as I struggle with my own inner demons, I felt like I should get rid of it. Eventually you meet with Granny again. Mentions how Madeline's inner demons are scared and is a defense mechanism. 2 was afraid to make my black and white video. To relate by reaching out to Madeline in a way it dragged me down too. Instead of hating myself, I accepted that my inner demons are just part of me. By accepting myself and learning to be kinder to myself, I have become stronger. But also Madeline becomes stronger as she gains 2 dashes. Finally, Madeline conquers the Celeste mountain. You as well can conquer your own mountain by accepting yourself with self-reflection. Make your wonderful dream a reality. It will become your truth. If it's anyone, it's you. What makes Celeste an amazing experience is that not only it's a fabulous game, but it also shows that video games as a medium have great potential to guide people. Celeste does a fantastic job of doing this. Thank you, Maddie Torsen, for making Celeste. Not only you guided me on a brighter path, but also countless other people. I haven't conquered the mountain yet. That's okay. I'm in a much more better spot than previously. It's not easy to climb a mountain. Remember, acceptance is the best way to go forward in life. To end this video, thank you for putting love into this amazing game. The lessons applied from Celeste, I can become a much more better person. With this in mind, I want to climb my own Celeste mountain.